Saturn, right? It's everybody's favorite planet, right? Not. Okay, well, Saturn is, I would say, in the sky, in pictures of planets, it's probably the easiest planet to spot because it's the one with the rings that go around it. So, when kids draw planets, they always draw the one with the rings around it. So that's Saturn. Now, Saturn in Western astrology has a terrible reputation. Nobody likes Saturn. Okay, now I'll say historically, in fact, traditional astrology stops at Saturn because you see, before the telescope was invented, we didn't know about the existence of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So for traditional astrologers, you see, they didn't have a telescope, which meant that they thought the universe was kind of like this, like the way people used to think the Earth was flat, right? So we used to think the universe was limited because we could only see till where Saturn was. And actually, you can see Saturn in the night sky. So what you do is you go out at night. Of course, this doesn't happen like all year round, but in some times of the year when you look up into the sky, you can see Saturn in the sky without a telescope. But you see, for the longest time, people thought the universe ended with Saturn. And that's why, as a planet, it represents things like endings, limitations, where this is as far as you can go, you can't go any further than that. So you'll find Saturn has a terrible reputation because it makes people heavy, laden with responsibilities, like there is no hope, or like long hours, having to work really hard. But I would say, in transit, so that means when I say transit, it means that I put your birth chart and then I also want to see what's happening in the sky. So when Saturn is interacting with your chart and he's doing nasty things there, sometimes you find that people can go through, say, a year of like, it's a bad year for money, or perhaps you were spending a lot of money but you weren't quite earning it very well. So that's like a bad Saturn year for money. Or it could be like some challenges in your relationships, or health has got issues. Having said that, I found that the effect of Saturn, especially in transit, is to slow things down. It gets people to say, hey, wait a minute, I've been lackadaisical in some areas of my life. I've been lazy, or I haven't quite, I was out of integrity in my finances or in my job. I was cruising, wasn't working very hard, and crap, now they're coming after me with an assessment and they're telling me I'm not doing a good job. So what happens with Saturn is this gives you an opportunity to kind of rebuild your foundations. Go back into the basics to see what works, what doesn't work. Is there something you can do to improve it? Now, I found that people who use their Saturn transits in a positive manner come out of that experience creating something that is of an even better value. They basically say, well, the last time I did it, didn't quite get it right, and I've gone back and I've spent months improving it. I've got a better product right now, and usually the version 2 does a lot better. Same thing with relationships, same thing with your health. So in the long run, does Saturn deliver something quite positive? In my experience, I would say yes, but only if you recognize that what Saturn is trying to do is to make you better, right? And in order to make you better, he's got this unpopular way of showing you how you're not good enough at the beginning. So that's Saturn for you. Personally, I really like Saturn. It's usually in consultation, I encourage my clients who are undergoing like nasty Saturn transits to basically say, well, I mean, yes, it's not working so well for you right now, but there are things that you could do. And then that's when I'll start using the trines to show them, hey, look, there are other things that work in your favor too. So if you happen to be creative at that time where money is kind of low down, say, well, get creative about making money in a more efficient kind of way that you can sustain in the long run. So Saturn transits are great because what you create during a Saturn transit has got longevity. Saturn's kind of boring like that. So if you create something during a Saturn transit, you can work on it for a long time. So businesses that get started during a Saturn transit, or relationships that get begun, projects that get begun, usually have very good longevity if it's started under a Saturn transit. People who are strongly Saturnian in your birth chart. So if your birth chart has got a really strong Saturn, it's in a prominent position, or it's in aspect with many of your planets, that would make Saturn very strong. That strongly Saturnian people are kind of slow. Like, they're not really like, chop people. Like, they don't make decisions on the spot. They'll take their time to do things properly. But you'll find that these people usually deliver quality, and they're very valued in organizations that they work for. They're boring in the sense that they're kind of like, square, stick in the mud, follow the rules. We can only change things if we do it properly. But you find those people are quite often the top performers in the long run. Not at the beginning, they're kind of unpopular in the beginning, but over time you'll find that they deliver the top quality work. So that's Saturn for you. It's a very somber topic because Saturn is quite somber. Saturn happens to be one of my favorite planets, right? So if you'd like to find out more about the planets, it's not just Saturn, by the way. You can check out our chart generator. You can see where Saturn is in your chart. It's hard for me to show you what it looks like right now, but Saturn's the one that looks like an old man with a walker. So if you can spot it in your chart, then that's the one. He's usually brown in color, I think. But of course, if you want to find out more about all the other planets, do check out our course as well. So we do conduct the basic astrology course. Check it out, and you'll find that our course covers how to interpret all the planets, all the signs, all the houses. Despite what I said about Saturn, it tends to change its meaning depending on which house it is in or what sign it is in. In some signs, it's not very disciplined at all, and in some signs, it is extremely slow and disciplined. So if you want to find out more about that, check out our course, and I will see you in class. These are people who tend to meet each other over several lifetimes. You know, their souls are intertwined. You know, it's like a fate and destiny thing that they'll meet. And for some of the romantics out there say that.
Do like our Instagram and Facebook page, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like these. Do post your comments if you'd like me to answer any questions about astrology, and I'll address them in my upcoming videos. Thank you very much for watching.